Hello everyone. In this video what we are going to see is variables. In our last video we have covered on schedules. If you are new to our channel, hit subscribe. Your subscription will motivate me to produce more video in better quality. This logic app we have created from our introduction video and we have seen about recurrence as well. Now let's create our first step. Just click on this plus icon and it will show add action. Just select this and under here go for built-in. Here only variables will be there. Just expand the list of connectors and here you will find variables. Under variables you have multiple operation related to a variable. So the first step is to initialize a variable and we can do the rest of the operation later. First let's initialize a variable, which is the first step. Let me select this and here we need to provide a name to our variable. I'm going to name this variable as test variable, test var, and you have types to select. It has various types you can select from. So first what we are going to see is integer. So integer is numbers. You can define like 500, 1 or 2, whatever the number you want. So I'm initializing to 5. We have created one variable with type as integer and value as 5. Just remember one thing, that you cannot initialize variable inside loop, but you can do rest of the operation inside a loop. We will see this later. Now we will see whatever the operation we can do with this variable. Just click on plus and click on add action. You can either go to built-in or if you have recently used it, it will come up here. So select this. For integer type variable, these two operations are available, this one and then this one, and you have a common operation which is set variable, which we'll see at last. Now let's go with increment variable, and here we need to select for which variable we need to increment. I'm selecting this and I'm going to increment the value by 2. I have incremented the value by 2. So initial value is 5 and we are incrementing by 2. Let's save and run. It got completed and you can click on each task. So this is the input which we have given and these are some properties which is showing up. And if you go to increment, here it will show what is the value we have incremented by here under input we are incrementing by 2, right? And so total value is 7. And now let's see about decrementing a variable. Here you can't edit it because it is showing the results. So instead just click on designer. Now we back here, click on plus icon again. So here value is 7. Now go for variables again. This time we will go with decrement. Decrement means it will reduce the value. By default, the value will be decreased by 1. If you didn't specify any value, this is optional only. And I'm selecting the same variable which we have created. And this time, if you didn't specify anything, the default, it will be decreased by 1. So let's test it. Let me select the decrement variable. See, under increment we have increased by 2, which is 7, and now it got decreased. So value is 6. So this is what the operation which we can do related to integer. Let me go to designer view. Now we will see one more operation. Let me go to variables, set variable. So this operation you can use across all the data type. So this is a common one. Let me select set variable. From the drop down I am selecting the variable which we have created. I am setting the value to 0. So likewise you can set value at any point of time. Now let's delete everything. Okay, I have left only initialize variable. Now we will go with string. Let me provide a string value to it. You no need to specify in quotes, just typing the value here is enough. Actually, I need one more variable of string type. At the end, I will say why we need to create one more variable. Let me go to variables, initialize variable, and this I'm going to call as final variable, and this is going to be of same type, which is of string. Now we couldn't on seeing the task itself, we couldn't say which one belongs to what, right? We need to name this particular activity. So in order to name it, click on the task, and here you can rename your task name. Let me rename the first task as well, and if you click somewhere outside, it got renamed. And see, now it is clear, right? We have created two variable. The first variable, which is having the initial string, and second variable is we didn't specify any values here. So let me click on new step, let me click on add action, and let me go to variables. So for string, the operation which is available here is append to a string variable, and then set variable, which I said which is common for all data types. So this is specific to string variable. Let me select this, and from the drop down I need to select to which variable I need to append. So I'm selecting test. So what append operation will do is it will just add whatever the string you provide here to the existing string. Simple. So let me provide welcome here. So the final output should be hello welcome. Now let me add one more step, and same variables, set a variable. So which variable we are going to set? I'm going to set the final variable, and I'm going to which value I'm going to assign. So whatever the value we get in our first variable, we are going to assign in the next variable, just to see in the output. That's it. That is why I have created one more variable, and I'm passing the same value to here. So let's see. It got completed. Now let's go with first task. Here you can see the input what we have given, and for this particular variable we didn't initialize anything, so nothing is here. And append variable we are appending. So what is the value we are appending? Welcome. But here you could see only input, output we couldn't see for string. So that is the reason I have created one more variable, and I have assigned that value over here. And if you see here, hello welcome. What is the value we assigned to this? That test variable, right? So that value is hello welcome, and this is what it came up here. And that's it on string. Let's delete everything. Let me go to designer, and let's delete. I'm leaving these two variables, the first variable and the final variable, as it is. So let's go here, and this time we are going to see about Boolean. So Boolean means we need to set the value as true or false. So that is what Boolean can carry. Initially, if you didn't specify any value, it will be defaulted to false. And if you want to specify something, just click on add dynamic content, which will open up here, and go to expression. And I couldn't see the items over here, so let me move this panel. Yeah, now I'm able to see. Here just search for true. Simple. Just click on OK, and let me click somewhere outside. So for this Boolean, the initial value is true, and for the final variable, for the other variable, let me switch to Boolean, and I'm not setting any value. Let me switch to Boolean, and for value I'm passing whatever the value we get for this test variable, which is this one. Let me select this and let's save and run. It got completed. So if you see, the input is true. Let me go to finalize, and here as well, since we passed that variable value here, this also came as true. And now let's switch back to designer, and now this time we have already covered boolean, integer, float, string, and we will come to object at later point. Let's go with array. For array, let me specify some values in array. My array is having both string as well as integer. And now let me go to finalize variable. Let me remove this. And let me set it to the same data type, which is of array. Now just click on this plus icon and add an action. Let's go to variables. So for array, the operation which is available to do inside variables is append to a variable and set variable. Let me click on append to a array variable. So this time we can append a set of array to this. So what we are going to do is, let me select test var, and I'm going to provide a value to it. This value will be appended to the array which we have defined. I'm giving it as OK. Now, even now if you run, it won't show proper output. So that is why we have one more variable, final variable. So let's set variable as we did before. I'm going to variable, I'm going to set it. For final, I'm going to set whatever the value we have for the test var. And now let's save and run. It got completed. And if you go to append array, it won't show output, it will just show the input. And let me go here. See, we are able to see that particular string got appended to the array. Now let's switch back to designer. Let me delete this. And we don't need this final var as of now. So let me delete this. So we have only one variable, and which is of object. So here you can define your JSON object over here. So that is the purpose of this. So you can just paste your JSON, and this is how you can initialize a JSON value, and you can just run it. And only set operation is available for this JSON. And if you want to do more operation on JSON, we have separate activity over there, which we will see in later point. Let me run this. See, we are able to assign the JSON to this particular data type. And that's it on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit subscribe and follow me on LinkedIn to stay connected.